Someone says something to you and it just sets you off. People, I mean, we process and we're going over what they've said. Or you might actually just be out minding your own business. Do they know you better than you know yourself? We can limit ourselves greatly off the back of what someone has said to us. How I've been able to transition out of that mindset. And there's something that I have learned. When you have to get yourself to a point where it's time to stop giving people control over your well-being. So let's get into it.
See the new girl vibe, she in her stride. She goes side to side, she goes tap, 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 tap.
Hey guys, it's your girl Miss Annie J, and yes, I am back again for another conversation with you guys. And today I wanted to focus on people and how people can throw us off our game. You might have shared an idea with somebody and they are just giving you every reason for why your idea is not going to work. Or you might have shared some positive news and they come back with some negative feedback. I mean, people can really throw us through a complete loop. They'll put you in a negative mindset. We process and we're going over what they've said, and we consequently put ourselves in a negative headspace. It's something that I used to deal with myself. I always used to take the opinions of other people like it was fact when it is definitely not. Now, I do not pay no mind to what people say to me. So let's get into it. If you've been around my channel, guys, you already know I'm a Christian. The devil can send people in our direction to throw us off our path. Even if you're a non-Christian and you're just excelling, you're doing things well in life, you've got these goals and you're working towards them, you might share your ideas with friends, family, whoever, and the feedback you get is negative. Or you might actually just be out minding your own business. Somebody will find a way to say something to you. People can really get to us, but only if we let them. When people say things to me, I take it with a pinch of salt. Throughout my childhood, I was always hearing people's opinions about me and taking it on board as if they know me better than I know me. And it had such a devastating effect on me. And one of those things was body dysmorphia. Because I was born with cleft lip and palate, I underwent a lot of teasing. I mean, kids are kids. When you're the recipient of things like that, it can really have a detrimental effect on you. And it did. For a period of my life, it did. Because it started to make me doubt myself. How I've been able to transition out of that mindset of believing what people say about me was by starting to believe what God says about me and what I thought about me, and not paying attention to other people's opinions, because people are always going to have their opinions. And there's something that I have learned. When you are trying to get somewhere, you're taking steps to develop yourself. When people come with their negative opinions, when they try to put you down on what you're doing, especially if it's people you do not know, they feel unfulfilled in their own life. And so it's just a matter of them deflecting onto you their own insecurities. I'm a very secure individual, okay? And I do not allow people's words to throw me off who I am, because I know who I am. I've become conscious of who I am. And that is why people can say whatever they want to say, but I am not going to give it soil to fertilize it. I am going to weed out their opinions from my mind and continue on the path that I know and believe about myself. We can limit ourselves greatly off the back of what someone has said to us. I shared a short about the fact that when I was in sixth form college, one of my sociology teachers had predicted me a D grade for my final exam. And at the time, I was like, okay, that's rude. That was their opinion. They would have come to that assumption for whatever reason. All I knew was that that is not what I am capable of. And so I worked even harder because I was determined to show them, you predicted me the wrong grade. And in that fire that I used to do the work was intensified. I knew that I could pass the exam, but I just wanted to show them that do not underestimate me. I know what I'm capable of, and your words have no bearing on my life. What we sometimes end up doing, right? When you believe in the label that they have placed on you, or you start to act in accordance with the label, it then becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. when you take that opinion to heart, you start to fertilize it in your subconscious, because you're like, oh my God, they've said that I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to make something of myself. And you start giving that opinion your brain power. Actually, it will manifest in your life. What they have said will manifest. And it doesn't mean that their words are powerful. It means that your belief system is powerful. Because you're believing in what they have said, your subconscious brings that to life. And so that's why it's important to not take to heart what people say, especially when it's negative. You have to get yourself to a point where you are so assured in who you are. Like, no one can argue with me about who I am. God has taught us so much when it comes to your belief system. When Jesus went around doing miracles, he always asked people, do you believe I can do this? Luke chapter 5 verses 17 to 26, if you want to read it for your own reference, but I'm just going to read one sentence. Men brought on a bed a man who was paralyzed, whom they sought to bring in and lay before him. And when they could not find how they might bring him in because of the crowd, they went up on the housetop and let him down in his bed through the tiling in the midst before Jesus. When he saw their faith, okay, when he saw their faith, I'm going to leave it right there. Your belief, what you believe in your mind, is fed to your subconscious. And that is what manifests in your reality. I've said it before. When people say things about us, they cast their opinion, they cast these negative words. It is up to you and me as to whether we accept the words that they have spoken or whether we reject the words they've spoken. Because if we accept the words they've spoken, we're taken off course. Imagine God has this path for you, directly ahead of you. When somebody comes along, they inject negative words, opinions into your life, and you take what they have said on board. The path that God intends for us to be on, we get diverted and we now are going this way. Basically, we're headed in a direction that hasn't been designed for us. And so now life is starting to look uncomfortable. We are acting based on faith in the negative opinions of another person. That shouldn't be a part of our destiny. And there are a lot of hurt people walking around in this world. Hurt people will hurt people. Just think about it. If you're constantly walking around with resentment and bitterness, how are you going to pour life into somebody else? And when I say pour life, I'm talking, how are you going to speak positivity into somebody else? Even the Bible says that from the well of a man's heart, the mouth speaks. If you're walking around and you are wounded and you are hurt, how are you going to be able to encourage and build up somebody else? There are people who will talk out of pain. And so that's why I'm saying, when people say negative things to us, especially when it's uncalled for, like you have done nothing, and yet their words are spiteful, they are dealing with something. And so that's why you cannot take other people's opinions to heart. In respect of my teacher who gave me that predicted grade, I don't know if they were dealing with something, if they just did not like me. All I knew is that what you have said about me is not true. And I'm going to show you that it's not true. But imagine that I had taken what my teacher has said to heart. And I had said, well, he's an authority figure, so he must know what he's talking about. I could have easily done that. But you have to use and apply your own judgment to what someone says to you. They say something about you, they say something to you that is negative, friends, family, strangers, anybody. What do you believe about yourself? Because that is what determines whether you accept the opinion of someone else about you. Do they know you better than you know yourself? Because when you accept the negative opinions of people, you're basically saying they know you better than you know yourself. But when you know yourself, you're not going to accept the negativity that somebody spews in your direction. If you choose to accept their opinion and start to believe it, you can end up throwing your life off course based on what somebody said to you. Don't allow people's negativity to affect your well-being, your mind. A way to avoid that is by ensuring that you know who you are. You walk in confidence. And I'm not talking about, oh, you think you're better than people. It's just that you know who you are and you're comfortable and secure in that. And so people can say whatever they want. Guys, I will tell you, right? Being in the social media world, there have been cases where I have attracted negative comments. Some content creators, they will get into it with them. You will never find me responding to negativity. Let me explain. On the basis on where the negativity is coming from. I mean, if you don't agree with my opinion or what have you, that's fair. If I get somebody who says something that is insulting, and trust me, I've had it. If it's insulting, I'm going to delete it because you are purposefully being malicious and I don't know you like that. So I get rid of comments like that. It is of no benefit to anybody. But if it is just simply that, okay, you don't agree with my opinion, I am fully aware that not everyone who watches everything I say is going to agree with everything I say, and that's okay. But one thing you'll never find me doing is debating with somebody, because everyone is going to leave with the opinion and mindset in which they came into the argument with. And so for me, it is of no benefit to get into a back and forth with somebody. It's not productive. As you know, I am very much about positivity, well-mindedness and all of that. So anything that could potentially bring me out of that space, I don't give it no energy. I'm solution focused. And if I cannot foresee that we can get to a solution, I'm not going to enter it. I'm very protective about my aura, the atmosphere in which I live. I enjoy being positive because I'm happy and content with myself in my mind. And I have put in so much work into getting myself to this space. I will not risk losing even an ounce of it on behalf of somebody else. Not going to do that. It's too precious to me for me to hand it to somebody else because of their words. No. So it's getting ourselves to that point that we're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And not everybody who says something about us is speaking facts or truth. You need to know who you are. Never give anyone that much power over your life. People will come and they will say whatever they want to say. Don't worry about what people think. Don't worry about what people say. Free your mind from people. Take charge of your thinking system, your mind. Don't give that to anybody. Prioritize your well-being. Have faith and believe in who God has created you to be. Know your strengths. Know your weaknesses. And it's important to know those so that people can't just come and start pressing your buttons and drawing you out of character. You have to get to know yourself. It really is a relationship with self. Once you master your mind, you will have so much power over what your life looks like and not people. People are always going to think what they want to think, but you have to keep moving forward based on what you think, because that actually is the opinion that counts.
It's a bright new day. You're here with your girl, Miss Annie J. I'm gonna give them what they want, cause I came to slay. And nothing's ever gonna take my joy away. I'm about that